Hello, it's Jenny Rotten here, and I'm back with another Rotten Read. What is Gen X and why is it in Cape Fear? Let's take a look. This comes to and this is some government thing, Division of Public Health, the Great Seal of the state of North Carolina. It's the epidemiology, occupational, and environmental. This is Gen X and the Lower Cape Fear River Basin. You've probably already heard of this, but in case you haven't, we're going to take a few tabs to discuss it. So first, I'm just going to read from this website, what is Gen X? Gen X is a member of large group of man-made chemical compounds known as per or poly something fluorocholic substances, better known as PFAS. PFAS are man-made chemicals that do not occur naturally in the environment. These chemicals have broad uses in commercial products such as food, packaging, nonstick coatings, and of course, firefighting foam. Let's just note that this is alchemy. Gen X is a trade name for one unregulated PFAS used in manufacturing nonstick coatings and for other purposes. It is also produced as a byproduct of certain manufacturing processes. So two things come together and boop, you got Gen X, it's a byproduct. Where is Gen X found in the environment, you ask? In June of 2017, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, this website, was notified of a chemical called Gen X, found in drinking water sourced from Lower Cape Fear River. Gen X and other emerging PFAS were found in the river and drinking water in a study led by researchers at North Carolina State University. The Chemours factory or facility in Fayetteville was identified as the source of the Gen X chemical. Further investigation by the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality found Gen X in private drinking water wells near the Chemours factory or facility. Gen X and other PFAS were measured in air emissions from the Chemours facility and have been found in rainwater and other bodies of water close to the facility. Under a constant order between NCDEQ, Chemours, and the Cape Fear River Watch, Chemours is responsible for characterizing Gen X in the environment and reducing or eliminating their emissions through wastewater and air. For more information about environmentally monitoring for Gen X and other PFAS, you can visit this Gen X investigation website. So here is a little diagram. We show the factory shooting out shit into the air, lands on the crops. It comes into the falls down as rain, and then of course they flush their toilet into the river and it can fall and make a mess of things. How can it affect my health? There are limited information. There's only limited information. Well, it just happened about the effects of Gen X. In October 2021, EPA released a human health toxicity assessment of Gen X chemicals, which is a written summary of available information about the potential health effects associated with this chemical. And laboratory studies of animals show effects on the liver at Gen X exposure levels lower than levels where other effects are seen, indicating that the liver may be sensitive to Gen X. Other negative effects seen in animal studies at higher levels include effects on the kidney and the immune system, and developmental effects, as well as liver, pancreatic, and testicular cancer. Animal toxicity studies are a helpful starting point for understanding potential health effects of Gen X, but the relevance to human health cannot be fully understood without more human research studies. Thank God! We're here for them. Limited information from a small exposure investigation, for example, targeted biomonitoring, suggests that just makes me think of smartwatches, suggests that Gen X may not stay in the body for a long period of time. Scientists are actively studying the effects of PFAS to learn more, and we continue to work with various federal and state partners to review all new health and toxicity information about these compounds and shares new information with communities as it becomes available. So if they don't study it lots and hold their findings, it may take longer. What is the Gen X provisional drinking water health goal? What's our goal? In July of 2017, the DHHS set a provisional health goal of 140 nanograms per liter, or parts per trillion, or PPT, for Gen X in drinking water. In other words, they still allow it, but only at 140 nanograms per liter. So don't drink more than a liter a day. This is a level of Gen X. This is a level of Gen X in drinking water below which no adverse health effects would be expected over a lifetime of consumption. So they're saying that if it's below 140, there's no an accumulation. I don't know about that. That's just in your water. Think of all the other places you're getting it. The provisional health goal was calculated to protect the most vulnerable populations, for example, bottle-fed infants. Isn't that scary? How many babies not only are given formula, which is man-made, but they're given it with poisoned water. And now we wonder why so many kids suddenly have problems. I'd be curious to know. This question and answers document provides additional information on the calculation of the provisional drinking water health goal, and the North Carolina Secretary Science Advisory Board reviewed the approved provisional drinking water health goal in a report released in October of 2018. And the provisional drinking water health goal is not a regulatory level and is not a boundary line between safe or dangerous level of Gen X, but can be used to provide information to affected communities and residents about potential risks from exposure to Gen X through drinking water. And the provisional drinking water health goal is for drinking water only and cannot be compared to Gen X levels in other environmental media, such as rainwater or the fish you're eating. What are we doing about it? We're working to address the PFAS issue, don't worry, throughout the state, including in the lower Cape Fear River Basin. These efforts are led by the National Assessment Consultation and Education Program, or HACE for short. The HACE program works with other state, local, and federal partners to evaluate public health impacts from exposure to toxic substances in the environment throughout North Carolina and provide recommendations to protect human health. HACE activities include reviewing EPA's Gen X final toxicity assessment to determine how this affects our current understanding of health effects from Gen X, conducting public health assessments for affected communities, see below, reviewing environmental data regarding exposures to PFAS, evaluating new health and toxicity information as it becomes available, providing outreach and health education to affected communities, coordinating with federal partners at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, and the National Institution of Environmental Health Services, or the NIEHS, as well as colleagues in other states. Continuing to provide requested information to the Secretary's Science Advisory Board for their review and recommendations. There is some guidance for physicians. We've developed new guidance for clinicians working with patients exposed to PFAS chemicals in our memo. This is based on recent recommendations from the National Academics of Science and Medicine. Thank you. Specific activities and reports associated with Gen X response include the following: cancer and birth defect investigations, We've completed investigations into the prevalence of certain types of cancer and birth defects in the lower Cape Fear region. Overall, most cancer and birth defect rates were similar to state rates. Only a comprehensive research study can provide information about whether the specific exposure might be associated with an elevated prevalence of a specific birth defect or type of cancer. In other words, we don't know yet, and there's no investigations going on because it says only a comprehensive research study can do that, and that means they said only a. The way they state this means that it's not been done. Nobody's bothered, not we're doing a study or there's a study being done. It says only if we do. You have to read between the lines. Biomonitoring worked, we worked with the Cumberland and Bladen County Health Departments, the CDC, and the ATSDR to conduct biomonitoring by testing for Gen X and other PFAS in blood and urine samples from approximately 30 residents living close to the Chemours facility. Only 30? This summary report details the results of this investigation, and the results were documented in an article in the CDC's scientific series, Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, or the MMWR. There is a survey we did in 2019 of the residents near the Chemours plan to document concerns about Gen X and the PFAS chemicals. And these results will be used to tailor health education activities to better meet community needs. Results from that survey are summarized. You see here, they say there's a survey, but remember up here, only if we do the study. That's what I'm saying. And they have more ongoing studies. Here's 2 of them. So just 2. So that's good to know. What are the public health assessments and health consultations? Right, assessments and consultations. Thank you, brain. Let's see, the public health assessments and health consultations gather information about hazardous substances to a site and evaluate whether exposure to these substances might cause harm to people. And these public health assessments and health consultations are completed through a cooperative agreement with the ATSDR and include the following regions: Lower Cape Fear, which is underdeveloped. The public health assessment for people on public water supplies that draw water from the Lower Cape Fear River is currently under development. We are in the process of reviewing the available environmental data around the Chemours Fayetteville Works facility, which is ongoing. So this is under development as of whatever year this was. This is ongoing. Environmental sampling in the communities around the Chemours Fayetteville Works facility remains ongoing. We are reviewing data as we receive it from DEQ and other agencies and providing public health recommendations as necessary to protect people from potentially harmful exposures due to the ongoing investigation and sampling. The public health assessment is still under development. And Camp Dixie, which is now completed, the DEQ sampled the lake at Camp Dixie for Gen X and other PFAS in October of 2017, since the lake is located close to the Chemours facility. The HASTE program evaluated these sampling results and issued a letter to the director of the camp. HASTE concluded that exposure to Gen X at levels measured in October 17 while recreating in the lake is not expected to harm people's health. So don't worry about going to camp this year. And here's some other references that you can look up. But let's just go and check out Clark. So this is Clark, about the company that in fact released these chemicals. Clark is a 3rd-generation family-owned public health products and services company striving to elevate and transform the science of vector control through the lens of sustainability and innovation. They're really wanting to help protect the environment. A lot of things here, mosquito services. I hope I have the right order. I think this was the right business. I'll go over here because I have more here. The Clemmers facility in Fayetteville is identified as the company that produces Genex chemical for industrial processes. The state's investigation focused on the protection of public health and drinking water. So now that we know the Chemours, let's see, what is Chemours? Oh, whoops. Hang on, here it is. We'll just click on this. This is from the government website here. Oops. North Carolina, yes. So here you can see they were identified as the company that produced the chemical X, the Genex chemical for industrial processes. And so we have an actual, culprit, still working, still. Here is the company here, Clemmers Home. I might have been wrong there for the, what did I say? This one here, Clark. So I might have to move that over there, but I think that goes with a different one. Essential responsible chemistry is what Chemours is now. They weren't before. They were purposefully contaminating water and air and stuff, but now they're responsible, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm essential. I'm responsible. I'm chemistry. Discover how vital our responsible chemistry is today and for the future of our sustainability report. So here you've got meet the CEO. He discusses the next chapter for Chemours and the bright future ahead for the company, customers, and communities, and the world. Chemistry in action. Anyway, this site really does tell me about how responsible they are. They're evolving for the future, driven by purpose, focused on performance. Clemmers is on a journey to drive innovation and more sustainable solutions for a world that demands and expects more. We are connectivity and advanced electronics. Our cell phones, the Internet of Things, advanced electronics, the 5G revolution, and even semiconductors are enabled by Chemours chemistry. In other words, they're alchemists, and you wouldn't have these great things. But they're also safe, they're renewable, and they're sustainable. Renewable produced hydrogen can remake our economy and fight climate change. Holy shit. And they're critical chemistries for a better future. Chemours is working to create a better world through the power of our alchemy. So clearly they want to tell you that they're creating a better world through the power of their alchemy. Our goals are built upon 4 pillars. Innovation and sustainable solutions, environmental leadership, community impact, greatest place to work for all. Holy shit. And their courageous. So here's all the things they do. Here's some of the brands and products. You can look these up if you're curious. They have a list of all of them. Let's go click on that and see what that does. Oh, here we go. And of course, it tells you all of their chemicals, find a specific product, propellants, all kinds of things. Yeah, very interesting stuff. So, ignore the Clark. I think I had that one out of order, but I will be reading that one later. So we'll solve the mystery of, was that me and putting them in the wrong order? Fair to me. So apologize to Clarks for accusing them of poisoning people, although I'm pretty sure they're guilty of that anyway. So, but maybe not for this one. maybe for something else. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rotten reads. What is Gen X and why is it in Cape Fear? And what does it have to do with my cold? Watch the window.